Hello everyone. In the previous video we learned about how to add the custom fonts and images, and in this video we're going to learn about how to create the layouts and pages in Next.js. If you aren't already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to the channel to get the latest updates, and let's begin. Okay, so layouts. So far the application only has a home page. So if you take a look at here, we only have a home page, right? Now how can we create more routes, like more pages, slash about, slash contact us, all of those things, right? Um, we can start with creating the dashboard routes using a file system routing. Understand the role of the folders and files when creating new route segments, and we'll learn about creating nested layouts that can be shared between multiple dashboard pages, and we're also going to understand what collocations, partial rendering, and route layouts are. Okay, so we'll take a look at the nested routing first. So if you take a look at the file structure here, okay, we have dashboard, right? We have the root project, the app, then the dashboard, and then we have invoices inside of that, right? Okay, so Next.js uses the file system routing where folders are used to create nested routes, and each folder represents a route segment that maps to the URL segment. Now what does that mean? Well, this means that if the user is going to access the root URL, which is just slash, which is in this case just the root URL here, in that case user is going to land onto this page.txs here under app page.tsx. So that's being actually rendered by the page. Now if they access slash dashboard slash invoices, which means that they're going to access here dashboard slash invoices slash page.txs here. Okay, so slash dashboard slash invoices. Okay, so you can create separate UIs for each route using layout.tsx and page.tsx files. Now page.tsx files is a special Next.js file that exports a React component, and it's required for the route to be accessible. In your application you already have the app slash page.tss, that is the home page associated with the root route. So I've already explained to you this one at the root level, right? This one. This is responsible for rendering your home page, your slash route, which is just the root, basically, this one. Now, to create nested routes, you can nest folders inside each other and add a page.tsx files inside of them. So, which means if you want invoices, it's going to be slash dashboard slash invoices. If you just want the dashboard, then it'll just be this dashboard, and under dashboard you're going to create page.tsx page. That's going to be a dashboard page. Okay. So app slash dashboard slash page.tsx, which is this one right here. If you check its path, if you hover over it, you can see app slash dashboard slash page. So that's responsible for the dashboard path slash dashboard path. Now I have already created one over here. You can create one if you like, but I've already created one. So now if I go to the slash dashboard, you can see that you are at the slash dashboard URL, right? And then what's being rendered is dashboard page. If I just make changes, put a dot over here, you can see that's already been updated, right? Okay. now let's make sure that the development server is running on the dashboard, and we've already seen that it's running. That's great. This is how you can create different pages in Next.js, create route segments using folders, and add a page file inside of it. By having the special name for the page files, Next.js allow you to collocate the UI components, test files, and other related code within your routes. Only the content inside the page file will be publicly accessible. For example, slash UI and slash lib folders are collocated inside the app folder along with your routes. Okay, so what does that mean? This means that whatever is inside of page.tsx, that's going to be rendered on the front end and publicly accessible. Now you may have certain components over here that you can then reuse into your page. Okay, now let's practice creating more routes. Okay, so if you want the customers page, so I've already created, I've already created customers over here. Let me close all this. Under customers, if you create page.tsx, you have the customers page. Now if I go to slash, what do you think this route will be? So I'm under app, dashboard, customers. So app is your root, so that'll be just slash, then dashboard, dashboard, and then customers. So slash customers. There you go, that's your customers page. You can see that this is being rendered over here, right? Okay. And then similarly, invoices page is accessible on slash invoices, which I've already shown you. I think I have invoices. Yeah, there you go. Okay, now now creating a dashboard layout. So dashboard is some sort of navigation, right? As you can see, we have navigation here. Go to home, invoices, customers. So that's shared across multiple pages. So in Next.js, you can use special layout.tsx files to create UI that is shared between multiple pages. So I have already created that, as you can see. Let me close this. Under app, I have got, under dashboard, I have got layout.tsx, right? This has the main thing that's going to be repeated in all the pages, which is basically the sidebar that you see right here, right? So you have you have this component, you have this markup here, and then under layout component, and this has another component that we are reusing. It's called side nav. Now where does this side nav live actually? Okay, so side nav actually lives under UI. So we are keeping all the components that are related to a particular um, page under the UI, because then you can reuse it, right? So side nav is mainly going to be used inside of dashboard, which is why I'm keeping under a dashboard directory. You can keep it wherever you want, but it just stays organized because I know that all the components that I'm going to be reusing inside of the dashboard, I want to keep inside of the dashboard directory. So UI is responsible for having all the components that are going to be used inside of the pages, because I don't want to make my pages too big, the file too big, so I can put the I can reuse the components that we keep here. So here we have sidenav.tsx, we have the link, we have the logo, nav links. Again, we have a nav links component as well, which is this one, which is nothing but has certain links, which we'll talk about in some time. Which is, these are the links basically. Okay, and then we have the form. Okay, let's go to home. And this form is basically a sign out form that we'll talk about in some time, which is this form right here. Okay, now okay, so as explained to you, the side nav component to you, and this is the layout, and the component receives children prop. So if you take a look at this, it receives children prop. So what are children? Children, nothing but the content right here on the right hand side that you see, right? So if you inspect element, you have this container right here, and inside of that children. So these things, the sidebar is going to stay the same on all of the dashboard pages. What will be different is the content inside of this container, which is why you're saying children, right? So now wherever you use layout, and whatever you're going to pass inside of that will be replaced by this children. So children will be replaced by that content basically. So if you take a look at page, okay, so whatever you're going to put inside of the layout, that's going to be replaced by the layout. Okay, now So the layout component receives children prompt. The child can either be on the page or another layout. In your case, the pages inside the dashboard will automatically be nested inside layout like so. Check that everything is working correctly. So you've already seen it's working correctly. One benefit of using layout in Next.js is that on navigation, only the page components update while the layout won't be re-rendered. This is called partial rendering, which preserves the client-side React state in layout when transitioning between pages. So the benefit that we're seeing is that anytime user goes to another link, this component right here, anything that's inside of the layout component is not going to be re-rendered. Only the children will be re-rendered, which is great for performance, right? Because the page will load faster. And this is called partial re-rendering. So if you take a look at the partial re-rendering, it means only the route segments that change on navigation re-render on the client, and any shared segments are preserved. Okay. Without partial rendering, each navigation would cause full page to re-render on the client, and rendering only the segment that changes reduces the amount of data transfer and execution time, leading to improved performance. Alright, so it'll be good for your users. Okay, moving on. Root layout. So in the previous chapter we imported the enter font, if you remember, into another layout. This is called root layout. Okay. And is required for every Next.js application. Any UI you add to the root layout will be shared across pages in your application, and you can use root layout to modify your HTML and body tags and add metadata also. Okay, so since the new layout you've just created is unique to the dashboard pages, you don't need to add any UI to the root layout above. Okay, so what it's talking about is this layout right here. This is your root layout, right, at the application level, and this is where you can add the meta tags and all those things basically, and every page has this, and every page will have this root layout followed by any other layout that you have. So ideally it's this. Inside of that you have your this layout, and inside of that you have your children, which will be depending on whether you are on the root URL, then it will be page.tsx. If the user accesses /dashboard/invoice, then it's going to be this one. If the user accesses customers /dashboard/customers, then it'll be this one. Okay, cool. So what's the purpose of layout file in Next.js? To act as a global editor? Nope. To fetch data, manage state? Nope. To share UI across multiple pages, to act as an entry point of entire application. I think it's this one. Let's see. Yep, that's correct. Great. Cool. So that's all about the layouts and pages in Next.js. And in the next chapter, we're going to talk about the navigation between pages. Right. So if you aren't subscribed already, please do subscribe to my channel to know more about all the latest technologies. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye.